Let's master buttonholes. This is one thing that people always shy away from, but I think if they just knew how easy it was to do on their machine, they'd really give it a try. So first off, there is a buttonhole foot that we're going to use and put on our machine. But first I want to measure our button. Take your button and a seam gauge and measure it out. I see about 16 millimeters here for the length. I'm going to just measure that down, just get an eyeball here that I'm going to actually be stitching 1, 2, 3 and almost 4 of those red lines when we actually go and use this. Otherwise, you could mark your fabric a starting line and an ending line should you choose to. So we're going to go ahead and change feet. Sometimes I don't really have to with this foot. I sometimes lift the presser foot up a little higher in the back if I need a little help to get on, but go ahead and lock that on. If you want your thread down below for a buttonhole, since a foot doesn't have a little groove, little trick here. You hold your bobbin thread, take one full stitch by hand, and then take your thread, 2 hands in front of you, slide it underneath the foot, and drag it out. It will drag the needle thread down through the foot. I love that little guy. But if you don't, just hold it off to the side while you're getting started. You do want to always mark your fabric where the line of the buttonhole is going to start. So use a fabric marker and go ahead and do that. Next, you see this foot is moving around every time I kind of move the fabric in and out. Keep your finger in the back and keep the foot all the way at the very first line. You'll see lines on the inside that are going to move and match with the lines on the outside of the foot. Then that way, when you step or put the presser foot down, you have it lined up where you need to be. The other thing we're going to do is actually adjust tension. Right above where it says Husqvarna Viking, it says 4 for tension. I'm going to just bump that down to 3. That'll make it a little prettier on the top side as we make these satin stitches. That's a little trick for a prettier stitch. Okay, next, stitch length. You want to have it between 0 and 1. You're always going to test it out on a piece of fabric exactly the same as your project fabric. And then turn your settings to where it shows you 1, and you'll see the next one over is going to say 2 and 4, and then 3. So step 1, shown on your machine, that it's going to satin stitch down the right side of the buttonhole. This is where you are going to watch as you stitch. Watch for the line that you are going for. There's little red marks near the needle that are coming towards us. So I'm going to just go ahead and go to about there. Bring the needle up out of the fabric just enough so when you change this over to the next setting, it doesn't drag the needle if it was left in the fabric. So go ahead and turn it to 2. 2 and 4 are the tacks. It doesn't matter where it is. One's going to be at the bottom, one's going to be at the top. Okay? So I always do 5, 6 stitches back and forth. Don't get it too heavy where it can't get back over itself. Now to go to step 3. 3 is showing the satin stitch going up on the left-hand side of the buttonhole. Now all I need to do is watch for where I started, as well as where the red lines will meet back up at the top. All right, pretty much that foot's going to eventually get to a place where it can't go any further. So that's also the obvious place where to stop. Then turn it to step 4. Once again, that's a tack. 5 or 6 stitches back and forth. Bring your needle up and pull it out. Actually, I think my stitch length was right on for my very first buttonhole here. Flip those off. You can pull those threads to the back and tie them off if you want, but that definitely will hold them in place. Isn't that beautiful? So should this be a little bit more open and maybe not as close together as you wish, make the stitch length a little bit closer to 0, just a little bit as you do it, and then try it one more time. If it's more open, you can just go over it 2 times if you want, but if you really can get it set up so you only have to do it once, it makes it super simple. Where are other places you can use buttonholes? You'll find these not only on garments, but what about a drawstring bag or a drawstring pair of pants? That can be where the 2 right in the front below your belly button, where the drawstring could come out, pajama pants and such. That would be great. You can do a whole row of these and weave ribbon through them for a decorative finish on, say, something very delicate. I've seen buttonholes in a lot of places, anywhere from home deck for tie backs or curtain rings at the top of a shower curtain. You could add it to just about anything. So have fun with buttonholes. Practice them. All you need is a starting point and measure it out on your foot. Okay, one more thing fun with buttonholes. You can actually do a corded buttonhole. That means that you're taking a cord and actually having it stitch over it with the satin stitches of the legs. Now at the back side of the buttonhole, there's actually a little tiny part sticking up in the middle. And this is shown in your book, so if you need a little visual on the back side. Then as you bring it up the front side of the foot, we have a groove. And both of the little pieces of the cord are going to kind of come up there and sit. So when you lower it down, it's going to keep them perfectly positioned underneath where the satin stitches are going to form. So go ahead and follow your directions just like we did before with the satin stitch and the settings. Okay. We'll go ahead and stitch. It's now stitching over kind of the right one. And then we'll bring our needle up. Go to step number, I probably don't have to hold these much, but I am. All right, step 2 is the little tack at the bottom. Couple stitches there, needles up. Step 3, the satin stitch all the way back to the beginning here. There we go. I'll stop when I get there. Really makes this filled in really nice. I love corded buttonholes. Needles up, back to step 4, tack at the top. 3 or 4 stitches, 5 or 6 or more. Okay, there we go. Okay, take a look what we have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first flip the threads that are my purple threads, kind of get those out of the way so you're not actually seeing them. Okay, here's what we have for that cord we stitched over. Now all I need to do is give it a little bit of a pull and see how that cord's going to disappear. Also makes this very, very stable. And then all you need to do is snip this at the bottom and then pull just enough so those little ends will disappear there. That is how you do a corded buttonhole.